Is this karma in action? Sunny Hostin's husband just got embroiled in one of the largest RICO allegations in the state of New York over alleged insurance fraud and kickbacks for doling out unnecessary surgeries, and it has put Sunny in a very awkward spot being an attorney herself. So here's the full gist of it. Just in the waning few days of last year, Sunny's husband Emmanuel Hostin, who's an orthopedic surgeon in New York, was one in a list of 200 medical professionals named in a federal civil lawsuit by the American Transit Insurance Company for allegedly performing unnecessary surgeries on people injured in transport vehicle accidents as a way to indirectly get kickbacks from their insurance providers. By the way, this is a great time to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more exposés like this, because ironically, Sunny Hostin herself alluded to her husband's work profile in an episode of The View not too long ago, which at least confirmed something.
Let Sunny get in here.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through violence. 1 in 4 Americans say violence against government sometimes is justified.
That's gotta be an uneasy position to be in, because this lawsuit is categorized under the RICO Act, or Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, and Sunny Hostin herself was one of the loudest voices on the mainstream television, beating the drums over Donald Trump's RICO case in Georgia. Despite the fact that she was quick to presume guilt back then, she's now trying every legal and verbal trick in the book to try and get people to presume her husband's innocence before proving guilty. But that's not stopping this news from attracting a lot of attention to her, as well as a lot of big names in online media waiting for answers.
A person, the Sunny Hostin that we all love from one of my favorite shows on The View, and it's always, Tom, what'd you always say? It's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said, this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like, the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks.
And here's why the lawsuit has become so large in financial terms. The lawsuit filed under the RICO Act is leveling these allegations against nearly 200 individuals and a combined thousands of instances alleging unnecessary medical procedures, including Emmanuel Hostin's alleged arthroscopic surgeries that the transit company claims were not needed. The amount that the company demands has now ballooned to $450 million, with a situation that's become even more complicated as time goes on. Now, just this week, Sunny Hostin herself broke silence over these allegations when she announced, quote, "We have put American Transit on notice and will file a $5 million counter lawsuit for their defamatory claims, an amount that is likely to increase as the reputational damage that American Transit has intentionally caused is difficult to quantify at this time." She also demanded that the transit company, quote, "withdraw these false allegations, pay my husband what he is owed, and issue a public apology." Further alleging that, quote, "insurance companies like American Transit make an already broken healthcare system nearly impossible for Americans to navigate and get good healthcare by engaging in despicable tactics like harassing doctors. Let me be clear, where I come from, American Transit will receive a PhD from F Around and Find Out University." End quote. This is not me saying it. This is Sunny. Now, this statement itself is a shot in the foot for the moral grandstanding that we used to see from Sunny Hostin just a few months ago, demanding the tough answers from Donald Trump's RICO case in Georgia and leaving little to no time before using it as a smear tactic. And of course, The View at large, as well as Sunny Hostin, had an absolute field day when they were finally given the legal cover to use the word convicted felon anytime they wanted on air. And now we're seeing her demand much more leeway when it's her own husband under legal scrutiny. Not just that, when she finally did mention her husband on air, since these allegations surfaced, she made sure no one could steer the conversation to the uncomfortable topic she didn't want to talk about.
Anna went in a different direction, but I love the fact that, Manny is younger and he's
How
very...
much younger is he?
Just a little bit.
He's like 1 year, isn't he?
Like a month or a year or 10 years?
No,
or what?
5 years.
It's more than a year.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not about me. I think.
Oh, no?
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He
Exactly.
throws the garbage out.
Right.
He does the heavy stuff.
It is truly a revelation now, isn't it? Remember her being an attorney herself. This could spill out into much more in the next few months, and we'll be following this case closely. Right now, there's even some publications alleging that this allegation is creating hurdles and strain in the couple's marriage as well. Though these rumors are yet to be confirmed, I would say they're probably true. Now, just that, there's some word coming out after new court filings that many of the defendants in the original lawsuit are trying to reach an early settlement with the American Transit Insurance Company, perhaps as a way to avoid the protracted legal battle of a formal trial. And while it's not clear that Sunny Hostin's husband is one of them, the reaction and response to it is casting a dim light on the View host that has otherwise been quick to pass judgment on air. And that concerns not just in the formal legal context like this, but even in their feuds with names in online and legacy media. Most famously, we saw a glimpse of that in their spat a few years ago with Joe Rogan, and they finally got a scathing response from the world's largest podcast host.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin.
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and it's nothing
just
there.
Go for it. Yeah,
there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Yeah, and
fun.
The other question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of people...
MSNBC viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think they're a little bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has.
See what I mean? It's only so long before people catch up to the act, and the more times that public trust erodes in legacy media, the more we're going to see The View as well as Sunny Hostin reveal just how blindly partisan they really are. Right now, this is a developing story, and we're going to leave it in the legal system, but the response in the meantime certainly makes you curious about what's really going on in the Hostin family. But you let me know in the comments how you process all of this, because we're probably going to find out some answers in the coming few weeks.